can actually do your taxes and get money back as a student in Germany. Doing your taxes in Germany sounds complicated, but it's actually one of the easiest ways to get hundreds of euros back in your account. I will show you exactly what the differences are if you're doing your first or your second degree, common expenses that are actually tax deductible, how to file your taxes step by step, as well as the deadlines. Whether you're working part-time or just studying, this guide will make sure that you don't leave money on the table when you have to file a tax return. Alright, let's first quickly understand when you actually have to file a tax return as a student in Germany. If you have multiple part-time jobs or if you're married as a student and work, you must file. If your total income is above the basic tax-free allowance, which is 12,096 euros in 2025 right now, you must file. If you receive more than 410 euros in income replacement benefits like parental allowances or unemployment benefits, you must file. But even if you don't have to file, you absolutely should. But why? Because students often overpay taxes and can claim hundreds of euros back. I will show you later on how to do it easily online, even if you've never filed your taxes before. I've never had a tax advisor, but I managed to do my taxes anyway. But what about the benefits? Most students think, I don't earn that much, why should I even bother? Here's why. If you earn more than 1,008 euros per month, you can do that. But even more interesting, even if you earn less or nothing, when you file your tax return, you can also claim a lot of expenses like your semester fees, books, travel costs to university, and even your laptop if you use it for studying. And even if you don't earn much yet, you might not get the full benefit right now, but there's a trick. You can carry your losses forward to your future years when you do start earning, which will then lower your future taxes. So basically, even if you made very little money, filing your taxes is likely planting seeds that will save you money later because you had those expenses while you were a student. It's one of the easiest financial wins you can do as a student. Now, an important detail that almost no one talks about. Your tax benefits depend on whether you're doing your first or your second degree. Because if you're studying for your first degree, like your bachelor's, the German tax office treats your study expenses as something called special expense, or in German it is called Sonderausgaben. That means that you can deduct up to 6,000 euros per year for things like tuition fees, semester contributions, books, and so on. Sounds good, right? But there's a catch. You can basically only use these deductions in the same year where you had taxable income. And if you didn't earn enough to pay your taxes that year, you won't really see any immediate refund. And unfortunately, you cannot carry the loss forward to future years. Still, I would recommend you to watch this video until the end so that you know how you can optimize your taxes from the beginning on once you're in your second degree, so stick with me. Now, if you're doing your second degree, for example, a master's or a second bachelor's or something like a dual study program, things get way better. Here, your expenses are classified as income-related expenses, called Werbungskosten in Germany. And with this, there is no limit. Plus, if your costs are higher than your income, you can carry those losses forward. So this means into the future years when you actually start earning a full salary. That means you could reduce your taxes dramatically when you get your first real job after graduation. In short, your first degree, you can get tax refunds only if you had a significant income in that year. For the second degree, you have unlimited deductions and automatic future tax savings. Alright, now you might be wondering, what exactly can you deduct to save money on your taxes? First, there's tuition fees and semester contributions. This is the obvious one. That's the 80 to 350 euros you pay every semester. Absolutely deductible. If you're paying for private universities, those are way higher fees, but still they are also deductible. Then you have your study materials, so things like books and pens and maybe a new laptop, printer, and so on. Like all of these things that you will use for studying. However, there's also limits. So if you bought a laptop specifically for your studies, you can deduct that, but only if it's under 800 euros. If it's more expensive, you can spread the deduction over a few years. Then travel expenses. If you commute to your university or to an internship, you can claim 30 cents per kilometer. Only for the one-way distance though, so not the round trip. And if you had to move cities for your studies, like for example when I moved to Munich, moving costs can also sometimes be deductible. Also, semesters abroad, language courses, study trips, any official education program can count, if it is relevant to your degree at least. And if you have student loans, don't forget about the interest that you pay there. So in short, many things that are directly related to your university are deductible. Alright, now let's break down how you can actually file your tax return as a student in Germany. The good news is it's cheaper than you might think, especially if you follow the right path. You basically have two main options. First, there is Elster, which is the official German tax portal. It's completely free, it's the most direct way to file this. But while it's the most direct way, there's the catch. Elster is a bit old school and honestly just confusing. That's why actually neither I nor any of my friends actually use Elster for filing the taxes. The forms are in complex German and they're not exactly beginner friendly. It takes forever. If you want to do that, do your research. I've never done it, so I cannot share any information on this. But honestly, for most students, option 2 is way easier. Using a tax software like Smartsteuer, Taxfix, WinnerTax, SteuerGo. I honestly don't know anyone who does it with the official German tax portal. There's a reason why there are so many tax softwares, and the reason is that the official portal is hard to understand. So back to the tax softwares. They will guide you through the whole process. They ask you simple questions like, did you pay a semester fee? Did you work part-time? If yes, how much did you earn, and so on. So you answer them, upload a few documents if needed, and the software fills out the official forms for you. Usually these services cost around, I think, 30 to 40 euros, but for students, they sometimes have special discounts or maybe cashback deals or something. And don't worry, they not only fill out the tax application, they will already send it to the local Finanzamt, which is the financial bureau, and you'll usually get your refund within like 6 to 12 weeks. A small tip, so when you start this process, you should have the following documents ready. So your ID, so passport or maybe a residence permit, your tax ID, certificates for tuition, blocked account statements or any work payslips. And then also all of the receipts that you have from deductible expenses. The process usually takes less than an hour and you'll probably wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Now, there are many different tax softwares out there like Check24, Taxfix, and so on. We talked about them. You should check them out if you want to. I personally have always done it with Smartsteuer and I have been very happy with them because it is very easy. But I've seen that Check24 now released a tax software themselves, which you can use for free as far as I know. I've never used it before, so check them out. Otherwise, if you want to do it with Smartsteuer that I used, you can also click on the link in the video description, which is an affiliate link. So if you file your taxes through them by using this link, I will get a small amount of money, which helps me to produce these videos. Now let's quickly talk about deadlines, because if you miss them, you might miss out on a lot of money. If you're required to file a tax return, so if you have to, the deadline is typically July 31st of the following year. So for your 2024 taxes, you need to submit everything by July 31st of this year, 2025. But here's the good news. If you're filing voluntarily, like most students who just want a refund, you have up to 4 years time to do that. That means right now in 2025, you can still file for 2024, 2023, 2022, and even 2021. Now, 2 tips to make your tax return super easy and stress-free is, first of all, keep every receipt if you think that is at least related to your studies. Books, laptops, maybe travel tickets to university, whatever, anything related to studies could be deductible. Just take a picture of everything and store it in a folder on your laptop. Second of all, set a reminder for yourself that around April or May, you would start work on your tax return so that you don't forget about it. Even if you're filing it voluntarily, just having it done just feels good. I'm rooting for you. Keep growing.